This is for the leaders, the visionaries, the hope bringers, kindness instigators. This is your place to get loved, poured into, activated, and inspired. Well, good morning. Welcome to Fireside Friday. I hope that you are having a great week. It is Friday, May 15th, 2026. I feel like every single week I'm surprised that we're a week further into the year. But I'll tell you, consistently, this week has felt very different to me. And it has consistently felt different to the few people I've talked to this week. It's just the word that kept coming up for me was fragmented. I had another person that said it felt untethered, and no matter what, it's felt like even if we ground, or even if we journal, or even if we do those daily practices, the energy has still felt a little off, just a little unsettled or unsettling. And that's been different for me. So I don't know if you've been experiencing that this week, but if you have, confirmation you're not alone. And if you haven't, I'm jealous because it's just felt a little off kilter. Yet I haven't had language or a connection for maybe why. I have not found what it's here teaching us right now. Maybe just to be in the discomfort. Um, What's interesting for me too is, again, for Fireside, I have not felt a strong pull or an urge, but it has continued. I've seen like little fragments of pieces that all point us back to um, creating a form of inward refuge. And it's like I keep seeing this image of us needing to tend the space within, not in the ways that we've talked about in Fireside before. This feels a little different. It feels a little more intentional with craft and construction. And it's almost like a reminder that we are yes, the hearth that we seek, but it's like an internal kind of cathedral or sanctuary that we're being asked to not only imagine and to create or be really in tune and connection with. And I get the sense that we're being asked to have those dwelling spaces internally, almost um, in an artistic kind of way, so that not only can we go there when we desire or are craving some more stability or more connection with our own spirit and soul, but also so that we can receive signs and images of that inside the world that is going to continue to feel fragmented during the rest of the year. I do feel like it's going to continue to get more intense as far as what's happening in the political landscape and also what's happening in financial situations. I feel like the pressure, the contraction is going to continue to tighten. And that's not to scare anyone. It's certainly not meant to give you a sense of foreboding. It's just meant to be an encouragement to you that if it continues to feel intense, that is part of the energy that we're inside of in this moment in time, in these moments in time. And so it becomes all the more beautiful that we get to also imagine how we can sit inside these times and still ground ourselves in, still have those internal dwelling spaces that help us feel more regulated and more at home in ourselves. And so, one of the things that I thought was interesting, and I'll just be honest, like in my own humanity, this is not the message I wanted. This is not where I'm at, feel like I want to be. Um, and what's so interesting is that I pulled the card first today, Not very first. I turned on some music at first and then had to shut it off because everything felt like abrasive. And I'm like, okay. So we need some silence. Then when I came back to turn music on and put it onto a shuffle, the first song it played, I was like, I didn't make the connection right away. But the song that played was The Sound of Silence by Disturbed. And I was like, okay. And our card today is solitude. Um, so I'm going to read the card. And then what I want to do is I'm going to take us through some gentle breathing. And then I'm going to just help us start imagining or connecting with that internal space that that your soul is craving, or that you may crave in the future. And again, to give you some time and so a little bit of space, just a little pocket to connect more in with that. And to have some symbols or signs that you can pull and have around you and just nods. Again, to be kind of an anchor for you in the coming weeks, okay? And then we'll see what happens with this quote. There was a cool connection to with a quote that I thought about, and I'll come into that too. All right, so today's card. This is coming from the Earth Magic Oracle, and we have the island or solitude. And I've got kind of a glare on my little card here because the card's actually really pretty. There we go. There's like this little purple tree growing into a hillside. Um, and depending on your interpretation, it may be a storm around it or just some some darkness. But there's also light in the midst of it, just kind of just this serene moment. So here we go. Solitude. The solitary tree on this island, surrounded by the glassy sea, can evoke different feelings depending on one's perception and beliefs. The tree, which is in full bloom, stands out amid the relative starkness and is illuminated by a beam of light emerging from the otherwise dark sky. It's an elegant reminder of how, even in what might appear to be relatively barren circumstances, there is still beauty and growth. Although an island like this can be a metaphor for isolation and desolation, the thriving tree proves that even in the harshest of environments, there is life. We can see the tree's spider like roots spreading out along the rocks, seeking nourishment from the moist soil. The sense of peace and solitude depicted in this image provides nourishment for the soul. You need to take some time for solitude, preferably in silence. Spend the morning, afternoon, or even the entire day by yourself, completely unplanned and unstructured. The bombardment of your senses by the noise and intensity of society leaves you on alert far more than is necessary. The vibration of millions of people's worry and the fear throughout the world can impinge upon you and greatly affect you if you do not honor your need to pull back from time to time. When you have passed through any self constructed barriers to enjoying the quiet peace of solitude, it will serve you best if you simply observe the thoughts and emotions that pass through you, especially those that cause shortness of breath or a quickening heartbeat. Remember that isolation is experienced not by choice, but out of fear. When you decide to spend time with yourself in solitude, however, you are choosing to once again find and connect with who you really are. Something that stood out to me too in the read of the card is barren circumstances. I know several of you who listen and a portion of us in the collective have felt also in our businesses that we're looking for some more consistency, more abundance. And so, again, this is a reminder that even though circumstances are feeling slim or tight, you will be provided for. I felt that was important to remind us that being inside of your purpose and following your authentic voice is the key to continue moving forward even if it's feeling like there isn't enough. There will be enough. You have what you need. That felt important to remind us And then also this reminder too that there's a difference between isolation and solitude. There are some of you who have been kind of hermiting or sitting in isolation, which is different. So if you are feeling listless or untethered in a different kind of way, and you'll know this if it's meant for you. It's time to bring some of your sisters in around you. There is a call to lean into your community where you are, and to make sure too that you are getting the support or even just giving voice or language to what you are maybe coming up against so that you can have some support or even someone going, me too, girl, like me too. Because that is a powerful sermon all in of itself when we don't feel like we're alone or navigating this space alone. Um, because we never are. And even if for you too, it feels like a big risk to let people in on the truth of your circumstances, I feel like your angels and guides are telling me now too. They've got you, you're supported, and it's not your job to protect people from your circumstances. Uh, that's not something that is something that's an idea that we have really I can't speak for everywhere else, but the West, about this performing, this hyper independence, this thing of what success looks like. And again, where we're headed in the paradigm we're calling in matriarchy and being in circle with one another, there is no need to hide those things. And again, if someone has judgment for you over them, that is about them. That's not about you. And meeting life honestly, and how it is coming and flowing with you, I promise also that it makes pockets and spaces for us to be able to connect in more authentic ways, beyond the performative measures that we've been taught to hold up, often in business too, for my women who are in business or seeking to pave your own way or make your own way. Again, just a reminder that if you think about all of the times that someone has been honest with you or shared with you about what's going on, I feel often that you have probably felt more connected to them than disconnected, and also more at home in yourself because it didn't feel so alone. In your own experience. Okay, that feels important to share. Before I do we go through the little visualization. I wanted to also say I kept thinking about this quote, not kept, but today and prep, I was like, who said that quote? I'm out with lanterns looking for myself. Where did that come from? And it turns out it was Emily Dickinson, and she had written a letter to a friend, and I felt compelled to read the letter this morning. And what's interesting is I didn't understand most of the letter. It's not only written in a different time, I think it would have been the 1800s, but it's also written in such a way that it's very cryptic. It's a letter written for the intended audience who was for, someone who would have had experiences with her and their own kind of inside code. But what I loved about reading the letter is I kind of continued to get the impression from her she felt a little too boxed in by life. And one of the things she said in it is, we shall sit in a parlor not made with hands. And she put that in quotes, not made with hands, which felt like a nod to be about this internal space that I feel led to have us tap into for ourselves, and really kind of get a hold of. And that felt just, again, it was just, I've just been receiving nods all around this. But the other thing she wrote, I often wish I was a grass or a toddling daisy, whom all these problems of the dust might not terrify. And I felt like it again, it was kind of like a nod to a remembrance that we are part of nature, but what might it look or feel like to be inside in that trust of I just get to exist. The problems that I'm feeling, or the pressure, or the um, the cacophony around me of what might be there. What if I didn't have to listen to all that? What if I didn't have to be weighed down by it? What if I just got to exist? And I feel like, again, that's an invitation for us to draw inward in that space of letting ourselves just be in existence. And even in those moments, too, when we are traveling through or traversing through a season or a moment or emotions that we might not feel so that we like, that also that is part of the experience that we're inside of, that there's a gift to experience within the context of that as well. Like I said to you, even though I haven't loved this message, it hasn't like felt well, super like resonant, like, ooh, I'm so excited to bring this. That there is this piece of still being in tandem with the nods, with the little layers, like being drawn to that quote and finding that letter. It still feels like such a gift to be inside of co-creation in that way of following those promptings. And so continue to follow your own and let those be lanterns to you. But I love that. I'm going to say it again. I often wish I was a grass or a toddling daisy whom all these problems of the dust might not terrify. And the allowance too of being in our terror or being in our fear, that's okay too. It's okay to be scared or to not know. It's okay to feel like we don't have the direction or clarity that we're seeking, but we can just be present with what is. And exist inside of that, and know too that we are, I feel like, created for this moment. And there is again, just a kind of a peace or surrender in that too, of being connected. All right, give me just a moment. I'm going to blow my nose and then I'll take us through just a little guided, just a couple minutes for us to drop in with our internal spaces. All right, and I should have said this from the top. For those of you who don't know, I am still recovering a little bit from COVID. That's why Fireside didn't happen last weekend. And so I'm still decongesting. It kind of hit me a week ago, Thursday. And most of the intensity was that first 24 to 30 hours, which I'm grateful for. But still, we're decongesting over here. So uh, thank you for your patience in that. All right, I'm going to just invite you to close your eyes and to take some deep, gentle breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth as it feels comfortable to you. If it feels good to just kind of notice your body in this moment. If there's an area that needs to be stretched, like for me, I'm feeling some tightness in my neck, so I'm just stretching her out a little bit, rubbing her. Notice where there might be some tightness or tension. You want to just notice and release in whatever way feels good to you. Just those gentle breaths. And if there's something on your mental load, something pressing up against Just tell it you'll be right with it. Just need a couple minutes. We'll be back to life as regularly scheduled shortly, but just in these moments, just wish those things well, and you will be back with them. There's not anything that's going to fall or collapse. But if it does, maybe it needs to. Just let it be released here for these symbol moments. I want you to imagine a space that feels really good to be inside of. It could be the beach, it could be the forest, it could be your grandma's sitting room. There is no need for it also to even exist on this plane. Maybe it's a imaginary space with clouds and lots of color. Just really start feeling into a space that feels really like a home, like a hearth for you in this moment. Whether it's the sound of the waves on the shore or the crickets singing at night inside the forest. Where are you? Just notice the space. You are held here. You are safe here. And from this place of your just chosen moment, I want to ask, is this what your internal soul's dwelling space looks like too? Or is it different? There could also be elements of your chosen seated space that are part of that internal soul's dwelling space. But I just want you to know you're anchored in and you have full permission to imagine now your soul space. Is it the same? Is it different? What elements are there? It could be more like a treehouse with soft lights, a garden, a meadow. There are no rules here. You might be underwater or floating in a stream. Your creativity knows no bounds if you'll let her just paint the space for you. Notice if there are colors around you, flowers, or small tokens that might be on the shelves, on the ground. Just see if there's anything there that gives you a little wink, a little glimmer. whatever you're finding, even if it's not fully formed, this is part of the beginning or the continuation of your own internal recognition of what your internal dwelling space gets to look like. Ask yourself now, too, if there is a sign or a totem, could be an animal, that will be with you in this space when you need a place for reprieve or just a place to go and feel like you are tethered to your soul. Is there something or someone that is there inside this space with you right now? Could even be a small statue. That's one I haven't really seen before. Whatever it is, this is meant to be a sign, a sigil, something that when you are out in the world, it is a nod to that space. And you will know whether it's confirmation of something that you're seeking on your path, of it being that intimate nod to this internal space where you work things through, or also just a nod or an invitation that perhaps the solitude that we're speaking of today as we start tapping in is something that is needed in those moments, and or it is a sign that your soul wants a little bit of a date with you, a little bit of time in that space to just be in that solitude, in that harbor, in that safety of being inward with you. And this is a space that you can access at any time. Anytime. It's all your own. This is a type of sanctuary that belongs to you, a place of reverence, remembrance, reconnection, and just know sometimes, even once we build the space, we construct it in our minds and our hearts, that connection. It's always there with us, and we can always change anything within it. So there may be something in your space right now that is part of this current season or chapter. And if you're not loving that it's there with you, that's okay. It doesn't have to remain. You can remove it. But I do think it's there for a reason. So you can be with it or just know that it's there. But it doesn't always have to remain in that environment. Again, you get to choose. This is always co creative kind of building this life we're creating. And I just want you, in these last few seconds and moments here, to just notice if there's anything else that you want to take with you from this moment and bring it forward. And then also to just thank your soul, your guides, yourself for this connection. It's so special and beautiful and all your own. Just take a couple more deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. And again, this space is available for you anytime. It's always with you. You are feeling like you are ready. You can open your eyes to the space that you're in. We shall sit in a parlor not made with hands. May you draw near to your parlor, to your beach, to your treehouse, whatever that is for you. Whenever you're feeling like you need to reconnect, it's there. I'll see you next week.